Hi, first grade. Welcome back to Shared Reading. And so this time, when we read Silly Sarah, which is the book that we've been reading this week, this will be the second time we read Silly Sarah. And what we're going to focus on are plurals. So in phonics right now, we're talking about making one noun or item more than one, right? And so plurals are only for nouns. A noun is a person, place, thing, or idea. So anything you can touch will be a noun. My marker is a noun. My phone is a noun because I can say I have one marker or I have two markers. I have one phone or I have two phones, okay? And so the example that I wanted to show you is, what if my noun is a flower? I have one flower. How would I say that word if I had three? One flower, can I say three flower? No, we have to add something there. What do we add? One flower, three. Good, three flowers. So if you notice, we added that S there, right? And we've learned recently that it doesn't always just make it S. Sometimes we have to add ES, but there's a rule for that. And so when we're reading this book, I want us to make sure that we're not just saying, oh, any word with an S is a plural noun, because we also have verbs. We have nouns and we have verbs. Verbs are something you do. So can I marker? That doesn't make sense. Can I use my marker? So use would be my verb. Can I write? That's something I can do. And the example I want to say is, the thing I want to do is run. But I can say I run. But if I say Mr. Christian run, that doesn't make sense, unfortunately, in English grammar. So we would have to say Mr. Christian runs. So in that sense, we still have to add our second or the S at the end, but that's for a different reason, because we're talking about a different person. We're not saying that I run more than once, okay? So plurals are only for nouns, but if we have a verb, sometimes there's an S there, okay? So let us start reading our book, and we're going to keep track of when we see our verbs and when we see our plural nouns, and we're going to keep track of those plural nouns, okay? So Silly Sarah, written by Maribeth Boeltz, illustrated by Sherilyn Barnes. Mama says to Silly Sarah, follow closely and obey. Now that lesson is over, Silly Sarah, you can play. So here we see the word says, but says is a verb, as we've seen here. Says is a verb. It's something you do, so that's not a plural noun. We can't keep track of that one, okay? So let's erase that one. Where's my eraser? Here's my eraser. I'm going to erase it, okay? Let's see if there are other plural nouns in our book. Piggies roll in muddy puddles. Silly Sarah sings, me too. Silly Sarah swims and splashes, doing what her new friends do. Think about the words that have S's at the end. I see so many here. Let's think about which ones are nouns. which ones are the things that maybe we could pick up or touch? Can we touch things? No, because that's something Sarah is doing. So that's a verb. We can't do that one. Can we hold a piggy? Yeah, so that is one of our words. Can we touch a muddy puddle? Yeah, we can. Maybe we shouldn't. You don't have to make that choice, but if we wanted to, we could. Swims. Can we touch swims? And splashes? Nope, those are things that she's doing. But can we touch her friends? If they allowed us to, yes, we could. Okay, so those three are our plural nouns. Let's keep going and see if we see more. Silly Sarah sees 6 ponies. Silly Sarah joins the race. Again, we see lots of words that have the ending with an S or an ES. But I only see one word that is actually a plural noun, and that's the word ponies, because those are the only things that we could touch. Those other words with the S at the end, that's what she's doing, right? She's looking and she sees them. That's something she's doing, and then she joins the race. Good. Around the barrels, over fences, Silly Sarah takes last place. What are the things that we could touch here? Good. The fences. Could go over and touch those fences. And the barrels, yeah. These are barrels right here. They sometimes contain different things, but that's what a barrel is. Good. Takes is something she's doing, so that's not a noun, it's a verb. Mole is digging holes in tunnels. Mole sits up and looks about. There are 4 words that end with the letter S. Which ones? Take some time and think about which ones are the ones that are nouns that we can keep track of. Good. If you didn't get these are holes and tunnels. And if you did, I'm glad you're following along. Looks and sits are things that Mole is doing. Can't touch that. We don't consider those nouns. Is that Silly Sarah squeezing in a hole and through and out? We see any words ending with the letter S? No, we don't have any plural words here. Then she runs into the meadow. Dog is herding sheep. What fun! Run is a verb, so that is not a plural word we would keep track of. Let's keep going. There is barking, running, quacking. Silly Sarah, are you done? No words with the letter S at the end. Now the sun is slowly setting. Mama Duck knows what's best. Again, these 2 words, that's a contraction, so we wouldn't count that. And knows is also a verb. Mama kisses Silly Sarah and tucks her gently in to rest. Awesome. And so there's one word that would be really tricky, which is the word kisses. We have to see how that word is used in the sentence to see if it's a verb or if it's a noun. So it says, Mama kisses Silly Sarah. So in that sentence, it's a verb because Mama is doing that to Silly Sarah. Okay, so that wouldn't be a word we're going to keep track of as a plural word. Awesome. And so we were able to look through and point out all the different words that were plurals. So what I'd like for us to do is when you're reading a book, when you're reading any kind of book, maybe it's by yourself, maybe someone is helping you, I want you to make sure that you are keeping track of those skills that we're learning in our shared reading as well as phonics. Okay, so we're not just looking and reading and enjoying the pictures, although you can do that. But if we practice these strategies, it'll help us get better and better. Thank you. We'll read this book a couple more times. Bye.